Elvis Aaron Presley was born January 8, 1935, in Tupelo, Mississippi, and died August 16, 1977, was an American singer and actor. Regarded as one of the most significant cultural icons of the 20th century, he is often referred to as the King of Rock and Roll, or simply the King. He is the son of Vladislav Nesmith, was born April 25, 1912 and died August 14, 1958, and Vernon Elvis Presley, was born April 10, 1916 and died June 26, 1979, in the two-room shotgun house built by Vernon's father in preparation for the child's birth. Jesse Aaron Presley, his identical twin brother, was delivered stillborn 35 minutes before him. As an only child, Presley became close to both parents and formed an especially close bond with his mother. The family attended an Assembly of God church, where he found his initial musical inspiration. When he was 13 years old, he and his family relocated to Memphis, Tennessee. In September 1941, Presley entered first grade at East Tupelo Consolidated, where his instructors regarded him as average. He was encouraged to enter a singing contest after impressing his school teacher with a rendition of Red Foley's country song, Old Ship, during morning prayers. A few months later, Presley received his first guitar for his birthday. He had hoped for something else by different accounts, either a bicycle or a rifle. Over the following year, he received basic guitar lessons from two of his uncles and the new pastor at the family's church. Entering a new school, Milam, for 6th grade in September 1946, Presley was regarded as a loner. The following year, he began bringing his guitar in on a daily basis. He played and sang during lunchtime, and was often teased as a trashy kid who played hillbilly music. The family was by then living in a largely African-American neighborhood. A devotee of Mississippi Slim's show on the Tupelo radio station Willow, Presley was described as crazy about music by Slim's younger brother, a classmate of Presley's, who often took him into the station. Slim supplemented Presley's guitar tuition by demonstrating chord techniques. When his protege was 12 years old, Slim scheduled him for 2 on-air performances. Presley was overcome by stage fright the first time, but succeeded in performing the following week. In 1950, he began practicing guitar regularly under the tutelage of Jesse Denson, a neighbor 2.5 years his senior. They and 3 other boys, including 2 future rockabilly pioneers, brothers Dorsey and Johnny Burnett, formed a loose musical collective that played frequently around the courts. That September, he began ushering at Lowe's State Theater. Other jobs followed, including Precision Tool, Lowe's Again, and Marl Metal Products. Presley, who never received formal music training or learned to read music, studied and played by ear. He also frequented record stores with jukeboxes and listening booths. He knew all of Hank Snow's songs, and he loved records by other country singers such as Roy Acuff, Ernest Tubb, Ted Daffan, Jimmy Rodgers, Jimmy Davis, and Bob Wills. The Southern gospel singer Jake Hess, one of his favorite performers, was a significant influence on his ballad singing style. He was a regular audience member at the monthly all-night singings downtown, where many of the white gospel groups that performed reflected the influence of African-American spiritual music. He adored the music of black gospel singer Sister Rosetta Tharpe. Like some of his peers, he may have attended blues venues of necessity, in the segregated South, on only the nights designated for exclusively white audiences. He certainly listened to the regional radio stations, such as UDAM, that played race records, spirituals, blues, and the modern, backbeat heavy sound of rhythm and blues. Many of his future recordings were inspired by local African-American musicians such as Arthur Crudup and Rufus Thomas. B.B. King recalled that he had known Presley before he was popular, when they both used to frequent Beale Street. By the time he graduated from high school in June 1953, Presley had already singled out music as his future. The trio played publicly for the first time on July 17 at the Bon Air Club, Presley still sporting his child-sized guitar. At the end of the month, they appeared at the Overton Park Shell, with Slim Whitman headlining. Black, a natural showman, whooped and rode his bass, hitting double licks that Presley would later remember as really a wild sound, like a jungle drum or something. Soon after, Moore and Black quit their old band to play with Presley regularly, and DJ and promoter Bob Neal became the trio's manager. By early 1955, Presley's regular hayride appearances, constant touring, and well-received record releases had made him a regional star, from Tennessee to West Texas. In January, Neal signed a formal management contract with Presley and brought the singer to the attention of Colonel Tom Parker, whom he considered the best promoter in the music business. Presley renewed Neal's management contract in August 1955, simultaneously appointing Parker as his special advisor. The group maintained an extensive touring schedule throughout the second half of the year. At the Country Disc Jockey Convention in early November, Presley was voted the year's most promising male artist. Several record companies had by now shown interest in signing him. After 3 major labels made offers of up to $25,000, Parker and Phillips struck a deal with RCA Victor on November 21 to acquire Presley's Sun contract for an unprecedented $40,000. Presley, at 20, was still a minor, so his father signed the contract. Parker arranged with the owners of Hill and Range Publishing, Gene and Julian Aberbach, to create 2 entities, Elvis Presley Music and Gladys Music, to handle all the new material recorded by Presley. In February, Presley's I Forgot to Remember to Forget, a Sun recording initially released the previous August, reached the top of the Billboard country chart. Neal's contract was terminated and, on March 2, Parker became Presley's manager. Presley made the first of 2 appearances on NBC's Milton Berle Show on April 3. He began a tour of the Midwest in mid-May, taking in 15 cities in as many days. He had attended several shows by Freddie Bell and the Bellboys in Vegas and was struck by their cover of Hound Dog, a hit in 1953 for blues singer Big Mama Thornton by songwriters Jerry Leiber and Mike Stoller. It became the new closing number of his act. It warned that Presley is a definite danger to the security of the United States. The Berle shows drew such high ratings that Presley was booked for a July 1 appearance on NBC's Steve Allen Show in New York. Allen's show with Presley had, for the first time, beaten CBS's Ed Sullivan Show in the ratings. Sullivan, despite his June pronouncement, booked the singer for 3 appearances for an unprecedented $50,000. The first, on September 9, 1956, was seen by approximately 60 million viewers, a record 82.6% of the television audience. Accompanying Presley's rise to fame, a cultural shift was taking place that he both helped inspire and came to symbolize, igniting the biggest pop craze since Glenn Miller and Frank Sinatra and so on. Presley brought rock and roll into the mainstream of popular culture, writes historian Marty Jeser. As Presley set the artistic pace, other artists followed. Presley, more than anyone else, gave the young a belief in themselves as a distinct and somehow unified generation, the first in America ever to feel the power of an integrated youth culture. Though he was not top-billed, the film's original title, The Reno Brothers, was changed to capitalize on his latest #1 record. Love Me Tender had hit the top of the charts earlier that month. On March 24, Presley was inducted into the U.S. Army as a private at Fort Chaffee, near Fort Smith, Arkansas. On December 21, 1970, Presley engineered a meeting with President Richard Nixon at the White House, where he expressed his patriotism and his contempt for the hippies, the growing drug culture, and the counterculture in general. He asked Nixon for a Bureau of Narcotics and Dangerous Drugs badge, to add to similar items he had begun collecting and to signify official sanction of his patriotic efforts. Nixon, who apparently found the encounter awkward, expressed a belief that Presley could send a positive message to young people and that it was therefore important he retain his credibility. Presley told Nixon that the Beatles, whose songs he regularly performed in concert during the era, exemplified what he saw as a trend of anti-Americanism and drug abuse in popular culture. In early August, his mother was diagnosed with hepatitis and her condition rapidly worsened. Presley, granted emergency leave to visit her, arrived in Memphis on August 12. 2 days later, she died of heart failure, aged 46. Presley was devastated. After training, Presley joined the 3-Road Armored Division in Friedberg, Germany, on October 1. While in Friedberg, Presley met 4-year-old Priscilla Bialiu. They would eventually marry after a 7.5-year courtship. Presley returned to the United States on March 2, 1960, and was honorably discharged with the rank of sergeant on March 5. Shortly before Christmas 1966, more than 7 years since they first met, Presley proposed to Priscilla Beaulieu. They were married on May 1, 1967, in a brief ceremony in their suite at the Aladdin Hotel in Las Vegas. Presley's only child, Lisa Mary, was born on February 1, 1968, during a period when he had grown deeply unhappy with his career. Presley and his wife, meanwhile, had become increasingly distant, barely cohabiting. In 1971, an affair he had with Joyce Bubba resulted unbeknownst to him in her pregnancy and an abortion. He often raised the possibility of her moving into Graceland, saying that he was likely to leave Priscilla. The Presleys separated on February 23, 1972, after Priscilla disclosed her relationship with Mike Stone, a karate instructor Presley had recommended to her. Priscilla relates that when she told him, Presley grabbed and so on, and forcefully made love to her, declaring, "This is how a real man makes love to his woman." 5 months later, Presley's new girlfriend, Linda Thompson, a songwriter and one-time Memphis beauty queen, moved in with him. Presley and his wife filed for divorce on August 18. According to Joe Moschio of the Imperials, the failure of Presley's marriage was a blow from which he never recovered. Presley's divorce took effect on October 9, 1973. He was now becoming increasingly unwell. Twice during the year he overdosed on barbiturates, spending 3 days in a coma in his hotel suite after the first incident. Toward the end of 1973, he was hospitalized, semi-comatose from the effects of Demerol addiction. Presley and Linda Thompson split in November 1976, and he took up with a new girlfriend, Ginger Alden. He proposed to Alden and gave her an engagement ring 2 months later, though several of his friends later claimed that he had no serious intention of marrying again. Way Down, Presley's last single issued during his lifetime, came out on June 6. His final concert was held in Indianapolis, Indiana at Market Square Arena, on June 26. Presley was scheduled to fly out of Memphis on the evening of August 16, 1977, to begin another tour. That afternoon, Ginger Alden discovered him unresponsive on his bathroom floor. Attempts to revive him failed, and death was officially pronounced at 3:30 p.m. at Baptist Memorial Hospital. President Jimmy Carter issued a statement that credited Presley with having permanently changed the face of American popular culture. Presley's funeral was held at Graceland on Thursday, August 18. Outside the gates, a car plowed into a group of fans, killing 2 women and critically injuring a third. Approximately 80,000 people lined the processional route to Forest Hill Cemetery, where Presley was buried next to his mother. Within a few days, Way Down topped the country and UK pop charts. Since his death, there have been numerous alleged sightings of Presley. A long-standing theory among some fans is that he faked his death. Fans have noted alleged discrepancies in the death certificate, reports of a wax dummy in his original coffin, and numerous accounts of Presley planning a diversion so he could retire in peace. Accompanied by guitarist Scotty Moore and bassist Bill Black, Presley was an early popularizer of rockabilly, an up-tempo, backbeat-driven fusion of country music and rhythm and blues. He was regarded as the leading figure of rock and roll after a series of successful network television appearances and chart-topping records. His energized interpretations of songs and sexually provocative performance style, combined with a singularly potent mix of influences across color lines that coincided with the dawn of the civil rights movement, made him enormously popular and controversial. In 2008, an 1800-year-old Roman bust described as bearing a striking resemblance to Elvis was displayed ahead of an intended auction. A spokesman for the auctioneer said that fans could be forgiven for thinking that their idol may well have lived a previous life in Rome. As of mid-2011, there were an estimated 15,000 licensed Presley products. He was again the second highest earning deceased celebrity. Presley holds the records for most songs charting in Billboard's Top 40 and Top 100 chart. Statistician Joel Whitburn calculates the respective totals as 104 and 151. Presley historian Adam Victor gives 114 and 138. Presley's rankings for top 10 and number 1 hits vary depending on how the double-sided Hound Dog / Don't Be Cruel and Don't / I Beg of You singles, which precede the inception of Billboard's unified Hot 100 chart, are analyzed. According to Whitburn's analysis, Presley and Madonna share the record for most top 10 hits with 38. Per Billboard's current assessment, he ranks second with 36. Whitburn and Billboard concur that the Beatles hold the record for most number 1 hits with 20, and that Mariah Carey is second with 18. Whitburn has Presley also with 18, and thus tied for second. Billboard has him third with 17. Presley retains the record for cumulative weeks at number 1, alone at 80, according to Whitburn and the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Tied with Carey at 79, according to Billboard. He holds the records for most British number 1 hits with 21, and top 10 hits with 76. Presley is one of the most celebrated and influential musicians of the 20th century. Commercially successful in many genres, including pop, blues and gospel, he is the best-selling solo artist in the history of recorded music, with estimated record sales of around 600 million units worldwide. He won 3 Grammys, also receiving the Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award at age 36, and has been inducted into multiple music halls of fame.